Danielle Padovano, and I'm a junior on the women's basketball team and president of the Student Athlete Advisory Council. I would like to start out by congratulating you all on your academic achievements. Today we celebrate our successes in embracing the challenges of being a student athlete. We all know the dedication, balance, and sacrifices we've made to succeed in and outside of the lines. It is my privilege to introduce our guest speaker, William MacBeth, author of Winning with Class, whose book aims at helping individuals develop a winning with class attitude to reach their highest potential. Mr. MacBeth, a husband and father of 3, has spent his time traveling the country interviewing some of the most influential leaders in our sports. These include Tony Dungy, Alex Morgan, Missy Franklin, Shaka Smart, and Jess Mendoza. He is here today to speak about his book and what he's doing on his mission in conjunction with Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation to unite athletes across the country in an effort to beat childhood cancer. For those of you unfamiliar with Alex's Lemonade Stand, the foundation works to raise money and awareness of childhood cancer to inspire difference makers, honoring their beloved founder, Alex Scott. Alex was an amazing individual and fighter who lost her battle to cancer at only age 8. At 4 years old, Alex announced that she wanted to hold a lemonade stand to raise money to help find a cure for all children with cancer. Since Alex held her first stand, the foundation bearing her name has evolved into a national fundraising movement, complete with thousands of supporters across the country, carrying on her legacy of hope. SAC is excited to announce that we will join William MacBeth and the Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation on their mission to team up with over 160 athletic programs across the country in an effort to exceed $1 million in fundraising to fight childhood cancer and allow Alex's mission to continue to move forward. Without further hesitation, I introduce to you William MacBeth.
Good morning, and thank you for that. And thank you for having me here. Father McShane, David Roche, thank you so much. And Mary Ann, you've been incredible from the first email we exchanged. You really jumped right on this, and I can't thank you enough. Just meeting the people I've met so far here and see all you here, Breakfast of Champions, Father Lito, Sister Ann, I'm surrounded by great people, so I know when I talk about winning with class, I'm preaching to the choir a little bit. But one of the things about winning with class is that this is a lifelong thing. So even for those of you who get it, quote unquote, you gotta maintain it, okay? So that's where I'm coming from with that. To give you an overview of what I'll touch on, I'm the author of the upcoming book called Winning with Class, and been working on it for a few years. Like she said, I've been interviewing some of the top names in sports, like Tony Dungy and Missy Franklin, and the list goes on and on. I obviously don't have time to talk about 90 plus features, and I won't. But the themes of the book are to build attitudes and to save lives. And so that's the building attitudes portion. The saving lives portion is that a portion of the proceeds from the book will go to Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation. Currently speaking to literary agents and publishers in an effort to get this book to you guys as fast as I can. But because I have 0 patience, that led to the main reason we're here today, and is that is the mission that was mentioned. I have no patience to wait for the book to come out to help Alex out, so I put together this mission to get as many athletic departments and student athletes, and it's even gone to the professional team level as well, across the country to raise money and help Alex out right now. And you guys are starting it off with a bang, so again, I can't thank you enough. And then thirdly, we are honored here to have the Smith family. If you guys could stand up, please. Please, round of applause for the Smith family. The Smiths are true ambassadors of Alex's Lemonade Stand. They are incredible partners, but they are led by their hero, Bridget, who has fought the good fight against cancer and is thankfully with us here today. So Bridget, you're gonna have to stand up again. So really loud, guys, really loud. To give you just a brief overview of what Winning with Class is all about, the word is spreading, especially through events like this, which is incredible, but I've been interviewed a little bit, even on ESPN radio, which is crazy for this no-name author, but the interviewer said, you know, Bill, when I think of winning with class, I think of sportsmanship. And I had to kind of politely dance around that and explain to him that that's not what this book is about. Sportsmanship is a part of winning with class. But to me, I always say, it's not about winning, it's not about class, it's about both. We, as a sports society, as a business society, as a political society, need to get it back together and start thinking of the winning principles, the class principles, and how best to put them together as a way of life. So to give you an example of what I hope to bring to you by bringing all these great features to you, obviously I'm not going to talk about 90 features, but I will talk to you about one. His name is Chris Singleton, and I think it'll resonate with you a little bit because he's your age. Chris Singleton is a sophomore baseball player at Charleston Southern University in Charleston, South Carolina. Chris's mother was one of the 9 people shot and killed in the Charleston church shooting last June. My family and I were heading down to Charleston that following week for a wedding of my niece, because my sister lives in Charleston. So we had no idea what we were coming into when we got down there. Didn't know if there would be riots or protests or what have you. We had no idea. And then I was down there working out one day in the gym. On the TV was this young man who, as a sophomore baseball player, walked into the middle of the diamond where he plays baseball and gave a press conference 24 hours after his mother had just been shot. And the 2 main things he said were, love is stronger than hate, and we've already forgiven the shooter. And I don't know how and where he came up with those lines and where the strength to come up with that response, but I knew immediately I had to have them in my book, and those are the types of stories that are far greater than just sportsmanship stories that I want all of you to get. What did Chris do to build himself from within so that when life knocked him down in as bad a way as you can think, when he pushed the button of autopilot, this is the stuff that came out. So, you know, Chris and I were emailing when we were setting up the interview, and he said, you know, Bill, I'll do the interview, but I don't want to do it if you're going to take me through that night, minute by minute. And I said, that's not what this is about. Why I have to have you in this book is your response to what happened. And as that response happened, then it became a ginormous response from the city. Thousands gathered on their brand new bridge down there to walk across the bridge, all different kinds of race involved in that. And you know, Chris said to me, if this shooter wanted to start a race war, which is one of his alleged motives, man, did it backfire, and it multiplied. And we were going down my list of questions, and the next question was, that I was going to talk about, was all the things that have changed in his life and some of the fun things he did. You know, he was a guest of Cam Newton for a playoff game. He was on the Today Show. And then on the Today Show, some New York Yankees came out and told him that he'd be throwing out the opening pitch with his brother and sister at a Yankee game. He met the president. I mean, all these wild types of things. He was interviewed by ESPN. I was about to ask him about that, and he was talking about his walk across the bridge with all these great people, and he said, Bill, you know, the coolest thing that happened to me was I got a letter from a 5th grader, and that 5th grader called me his hero. And I stopped. I said, that was the coolest thing. Out of all those things, we barely even talked about those things. But the humility with which this young man has reacted to all this is amazing. And then he put the icing on the cake by saying, you know, I got that letter, I was called a hero, and I realized, wow, look at the responsibility that comes with being called a hero. So that's what I want you guys all to do. Breakfast of Champions. If you call yourself a champion, be proud, pat yourself on the back, and then take that responsibility and take it out and live your life that way. You know, it was a great homily this morning, Father. You talked about casting your net. I was thinking the exact same types of thoughts, and you said all these different parts of your life that you touch, because it's something I say a lot. Everybody talks about when we wake up in the morning, you got a choice about your attitude. Well, I think you have multiple choices. When you guys wake up, you see roommates. And then you go to class and you see classmates. And then you go to practice and you see teammates and coaches. You might even see fans during your game. Those are all opportunities to spread your name, as Father said. To spread the winning with class lifestyle that you're building within yourself. Because you're all going to get to points in your life that are going to be good, bad, and ugly. And what's going to be inside yourself when you look down there to respond? Hopefully it's what Chris Singleton had inside himself. And you can all live that winning with class life. So that's the attitude, the building attitudes type of story I want to tell in this book. The saving lives obviously is, when it comes to winning life with class, there is no better example than Alex Scott. She was with us for 8 years. 7 of those years she fought cancer. And she would have her lemonade stands to help others. That's winning with class in life. You're fighting your own battles, but you're thinking of others at the same time. She always had a goal. In every lemonade stand, she wanted to beat the next one. And then she finally came up with her big goal, and she told her mom. And he said, "Mom, I talked to Liz a little bit," and she said, Alex looked up at me as a 4-year-old and said, "I want to make $1 million." And Liz said, I kind of chuckled and said, "Okay, that's great. That's going to be hard to do with selling 50-cent cups of lemonade." And this little girl just looked up at her and said, "I don't care. I'll do it anyway." And that, to me, is how we all have to react and live winning with class. Winning with class is not going to be fun, cool, popular all the time. We have to look ourselves in the mirror, as Alex did, and say, "I don't care. I'll do it anyway." So with that, I think I want to reintroduce the Smith family and have them come up and move forward with the presentation. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
So on behalf of the Fordham University Athletic Department and the Student-Athlete Advisory Council, we would like to proudly present Mr. MacBeth, Danielle Padovano, our SAC president, and the Smith family with a check for Alex's Lemonade Stand for $2,000 as we continue our support of this great program throughout the coming semester and the coming years. Let's give one more big round of applause as they post their pictures. Hi everyone, I'm Steve Scholder, a senior on the men's swimming and diving team, and I am currently the Atlantic 10 liaison for the Fordham Student-Athlete Advisory Council. So essentially, a lot of you here are SAC members, and you come to the meetings every month and hear your voice and hear the voice of other athletes throughout the governance of your sport. But essentially, the SAC members that you see here today serve as the third pillar of the NCAA SAC structure, along with the conference level SAC that I serve on, and then the highest NCAA SAC board, which consists of one representative from every conference across the nation. The main purpose of the SAC structure, as I just mentioned, is to give student athletes a voice in the governance of their various sports. We focus on the student athlete welfare initiatives coming out of the NCAA conventions every year, and the importance of making sure that our Atlantic 10 student athletes are provided with the best advantages for their athletic careers. However, there is another important component to what we do as SAC representatives. We learn life lessons from our sports and carry that knowledge into our post-collegiate careers as lifelong learners. Today, we have an opportunity to learn from one of our very own faculty members here at Fordham University, who has been an extremely active athlete and coach throughout his life. A native of Chile, this professor came to New York as a preteen and attended Stuyvesant High School. He received a bachelor's degree in biology from SUNY Stony Brook and went on to receive a doctorate from Cornell University Weill Medical College. After postdoctoral training at Harvard Medical School and the University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine, he joined the faculty at Fordham in August of 2011, where his laboratory here at Fordham studies human papillomavirus biology. His tenure application is currently under review, and he teaches the courses of cancer biology and signaling and the course Introduction to Virology. In his personal life, he has 5 children ages 5 to 14. He played college soccer. He is a soccer coach and has the United States Soccer Federation National D license, and he founded a soccer program in Chicago, originally with one team, and now has almost 1,000 kids in the program. As if that wasn't enough, he also ran the Boston Marathon recently in 2 hours and 53 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce to you Dr. Patricio I. Meneses.
Thank you, Stephen, for that nice introduction. When I come to these things, I never know what I'm going to talk about because I like to get the feedback from the people around me. And it's been fantastic to listen to the speakers before me. And the most amazing person here right now is Bridget, who has gone through something that most of us will never really know how to deal with this. And young people who have gotten the gun, what she's gone through, are probably the strongest individuals that we'll ever meet. I know this not only from knowing people. As you all know, I do have a research lab here at Fordham, and I work on cervical cancer. So I've been around cancer biology for a very long time. As a graduate student at Sloan Kettering, I worked there in the pediatric oncology as a researcher. So for me, I've had interactions with young people, and their strength is what really keeps the family together. And I think it's an amazing achievement. So great job, Bridget, and hopefully we'll see you here at Fordham one day. And when it comes to sports, play soccer. It's the best sport, right? Yeah, thank you. We mentioned Alex Morgan. I'm jealous that you met her. I wish I would have met her. Fantastic player. And there's a football game today, but you won't know that a soccer player is going to win it, right? Because it's going to be a kick at the end, probably. So we're in every part of life. And when it comes to sport, all the football players are going to get me. All right. As a professor, it's been a long career. As mentioned, my tenure application is in right now, Father McShane. And I started my career 22 years ago as a graduate student. As many of you, I was a young person who played sports, soccer obviously. I have an accent, I have to play soccer. And all I ever wanted to do was just enjoy my life as an undergrad. And I made the same mistakes you all did and decided to play sports. And it's been, how many of you have said to yourselves, what am I doing? Why am I killing myself playing a sport that in 4 years it may be completely over with? Raise your hand. Nobody said, oh, thank you. Say there, some honest people, all right? I've asked myself that question time and time again, and I still do. As mentioned by Stephen, I continue to do sports. I'm a coach of Long Island Rough Riders on Long Island, if you know the program. I've coached up to 7 teams in one semester while teaching 2 classes here, raising the 5 kids and running the research lab. But I think that type of life is who we are as individuals. I think all of us are probably best when we're under complete stress and we're working so hard that everybody around us is saying, you guys are nuts for doing what you do. I know that there's only like a 40 or 50 hour maximum practice time, right? Everybody should say yeah, because we all do exactly 40 to 50 hours, never more. But it's something that we love doing. And there was a wonderful list by David Roche as to the 10 list of the top 10 things about you being a team player. And you look at that list, and it's really a list about life. It's not really about just sports, as was mentioned by William. It's something that we do in an everyday life. And you guys have already began that career path. What do you got coming in the next 5-10 years? Some of you will continue to do sports, and some of you will find another career, whether it be grad school, med school, or just the business world, or whatever you decide to do, whether it be art. And my guess is the next 4 or 5 years, you'll step away from your sport, just because you have to have a life. You have to have a family, or perhaps a significant other, or just focus on your career. And in about 8 to 10 years, when you have kids, or you realize, I'm getting old and I miss my sport, you're gonna go back to sports. And you're gonna be crazy like me. You're gonna start doing it again because you love doing it. And coaching is teaching. I love the fact that when the coaches were introduced, they were asked to stand up and say, to thank them for the way they educate our students. And I think that's a huge part of being a coach. It's not just coaching, how to get, that 10th of a second down in your sprint, but really how do you develop that the strategy to come out every single morning, and I'll pick on Slattery. Is Slattery here? The track and field? There he is. He's over there. He runs around me on the track. All right? I try to run, but he keeps going around me. And I was talking to him one day, and he said, "Oh, excuse me, I gotta go to the bathroom because I'm nauseous." Because he was working so hard, he was about to lose it. That kind of dedication, you can't teach that, without having somebody who is really your role model. And that's what coaches do. Yes, I'm sure, he was like, "Oh my gosh, my coach is telling me to do another 400-meter repeat at this pace." But you do it, and that's, I think, a phenotype of everybody in this room. If I can get, from the perspective of biology, we really are selective few. There's 500 students at Fordham who play sports, 8,000 students here. It's really a minority of us. And again, we're all crazy. Many people's view, I see the crew team every morning on the track, doing their little rowing all day long. I see the swim team, splashing in the morning, 6 a.m. Tuesday, you'll be there. Again, I already mentioned Slattery. I've seen the soccer teams now in the morning with the new coach, Jessica, who's great, and I talk to Gavin all the time from the soccer team, and you guys are doing that. And then the football players out there also doing sprints in the morning or on the field, working out and the weights. I think it's an incredible thing to have sports in academia. And as a professor who's done what you've done, it irks me when I have conversations with faculty who don't value what we do. I think that all those people who have issues with athletics, sometimes, going side by side with sports, they have no idea what they're talking about. I think the benefits of what we do, the benefits of sports, outweigh any downfall that people might think about. It's hard, yes. Are we going to miss out on some stuff? Without a doubt. I don't remember my undergraduate career except for the fall season. Let's be real. That's what soccer was about, and you guys will remember the same thing. How many friends do I have outside of my soccer sports? Maybe not that many. But that's okay. We have to come, we talk with people who we have a lot in common with, and that you're never going to forget. And as you have kids and you continue on your growth as young people and young men and women who will follow a path mission that hopefully you learn from the Jesuits, which really help out as many people as you can. Try to always remember what you do in sports. You never worry about the problems. You always find solutions, which is what we all should do in life. The problems are always going to come up. The question is, how do you overcome it? How do you solve whatever issue it is, whether it's health or is it a home issue or anything else? Don't worry about the problems, just find the solution for it. And that's how I live my life. Every day is a new day. The future can be written every single day, and the background that you guys have in sports, it's an incredible, and you'll benefit from it. You'll see it in about 10 years from now, what I mean about what you've learned. From my perspective, I'm one of those people who get up in the morning every day still. I get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning every day. Not because I have to, because I want to. I want my day to be long so I can do lots of things. This morning I took my 9-year-old daughter to her soccer game at 7 o'clock in the morning. So it's already translating to the next generation of kids. And that's how we should live our life. And having spoken to many of you, I've had Peter Metzl from the football team in my lab, Joe Sullivan in school, Sarah Tremaine, who was a tennis player, Maria Rodenberg, who was the person who told me what a libero was in volleyball, because they didn't have that when I went to college. Then there was Keelan Smith, who also was the trainer for the football team. And all these individuals I keep in touch with. Peter Mechtel's about to go to hopefully an MBA program. Maria's in medical school in the University of Cincinnati. Sarah Tremaine, she did a fantastic master's in King's College, and now she's continuing on to medical school. So these are the kind of successes that we can all have. And if I, a native of Chile, can come to America and do what I did and play sports, then you all certainly can. So don't ever let anybody tell you what you can do, but figure out a way to solve that problem. How do we get through it? It may be hard, but again, not any more difficult than getting up at 6 a.m. to go to a cold swimming pool and work for an hour and a half. Okay? So on that note, I want to thank David for inviting me and his boss, Marianne, for really doing the invitation. And Father McShane, certainly for inviting me to come to Fordham when I first applied. When I first got here to an interview, one of the first things I asked was, can I go see the gym? The faculty in biology were shocked that I was asking that question. But for me, it's important. It's who I am. I don't want to be in a university where sports and athletics are not a big part of life. But at the same time, I'm a cancer biologist. So all of you get your Gardasil vaccine. If you have not, if you don't know what that is, I'll be right here. You can come and ask me, okay? Also get your flu vaccine before we all get sick in the next 3-4 months, because we need kids to come to school and play sports, so don't get sick. And enjoy yourself. Thank your parents for giving me the opportunity to come here. And again, I thank you all for giving me your attention the last, 10 minutes. Thank you.
It is now my pleasure to introduce to you the man who needs no introduction. He's the man, the myth, the legend himself, Reverend Joseph McShane. Let's give a big round of applause.
I'll speak from here. At the outset, a couple of things. I want to thank our guest speakers. First, I want to thank Patricio for a number of things, for being the complete package for us here at Fordham. Number two, for not reminding us today that soccer is the real football. I expected you to say that. You disappointed me. I know. And third, you should know, you were told he ran the Boston Marathon. That was his 14th marathon. So he really is extraordinary. I'm calling his mother later today because he announced to me that he is now a vegetarian. How can one be? From Chile and a vegetarian. I'm calling your mother and you're in trouble. Right? Just know that at the outset. I'm going to get to Mr. MacBeth in a second. Those of you who know me know I can't go to one of these without acknowledging the presence of a truly extraordinary person in our midst, and that is one of my great heroes, and that would be Sister Ann Walsh, who was over here. And I mean that, Ann. You really are one of my great heroes, great role models. You do everything and do everything very well. And to go back to Patricio, I'm all for your tenure. All right? I will do everything I can, which is very little, but I will do everything I can to make sure that you're with us for 20, 40, 60 years into the future. I'm going to say a word or two about the day, a word or two about Mr. MacBeth, and then about you. All right? The day. You've already been told over and over again, Dave Roche was the first person to mention it, but it's already something that you've internalized, that at a certain hour this evening or this afternoon, you will stop work, all of you, men and women both, and you will hunker down in front of a television to watch Super Bowl 50. You will not go to the 8 o'clock Mass tonight. Let us be sorry, Father. They're not going to be there. They're going to be watching Super Bowl 50. And I reflect on this. The Super Bowl Sunday is a big deal for us. Somewhere around 115 million people will watch Super Bowl 50, which is extraordinary. And as they watch, some will be deeply, deeply behind one team, others will be deeply behind another, and others will be, well, just watching it because there's a lot of food around to eat. And it's expected. I myself will watch it because of Peyton, quite frankly. Because of the Eli connection, you know, I think Peyton is a great guy, period. I think he's a great player, and this is probably his swan song, so I'll watch for that reason. But each year, for 50 years, a team wins, a team loses. A city wins, a city loses. There is, in 50 years, only one constant winner. And the one constant winner over 50 years is Fordham. Now, I know you're saying, oh, God, not that again. But think of it. The Super Bowl trophy is named for Vince Lombardi. So every time 115 million people stop their lives to watch a Super Bowl, at the end, the exclamation point is all about a person who went to Fordham, was an athlete, and changed the way in which the NFL operated and the way in which the NFL was perceived and received by America. So a team will win this year, another team will win next year. Fordham always is present. Fordham is always acknowledged. Fordham is the constant winner in every Super Bowl because Vince Lombardi is the guy. But what is it about Lombardi? What is it about you, Fordham athletes, which really makes the world stop, look, question, and come to a different and richer understanding of what athletics is all about? You've already heard a lot of it already. I want to boil it down to a few things. Number one, as you were told already, you have great discipline in your lives. I don't know if you really agreed with number 7, that you look forward to practice as much as to a game. I don't know, but you do practice. Through athletics, you learn great self-discipline. Number 2, by being part of a team, you actually create communities which are ideal communities in the university setting. At a time when our nation is really wrestling with racial injustice and racial inequality, athletics is one of the few places where we are one. And I'm not just talking fans, I'm talking more about the nuclear teams. You reach across all sorts of barriers, and you create families of concern. Third, athletics is one of the only places in American life and in American education where you face and deal with two very different things. You face and deal with victory and failure. And the ability to deal with both is very important for life. Because you know where a lot of other people don't know. Your life is going to be a mixture of those two things. And blessed is the person who knows how to deal equally well with victory, less arrogance, and defeat without being crushed. You learn balance, and this is a very important thing. In essence, discipline, balance, teamwork, joy of competition, character is built. This is what Lombardi brought to the game. This is what Lombardi learned here. You are his heirs. You carry on his legacy. Each one of you. Athletics at Fordham is all about character building. Victory, defeat, balance, discipline, and teamwork. So this is your day. And if anyone asks you, what is the exclamation point in any Super Bowl? It's not Lady Gaga singing the national anthem. It's the Lombardi Trophy, which represents character learned at Fordham. That's the first. Second, Mr. MacBeth, I must say, when I saw your name, I thought we were going to get a talk about life, and all of you have studied MacBeth. You're at Fordham, right? You've all read it. And in the middle of MacBeth, there is this deadly line about life. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. You reminded us that the opposite is true, that life is precious. The Smiths know this. Bridget knows this. Bridget wrestles with it. Life is precious, and we have to fight for that precious quality of life to be recognized and to be celebrated. So I want to thank you, and I want to thank you. Bridget, I want to thank you. I want to be the guy who gives you your diploma when you graduate from Fordham. All right? Deal?
Did you just offer her a scholarship?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I don't know about that, but you've just seen the first miracle for canonization. You saw a Jesuit dumbstruck. Absolutely without words. Bridget, I'll talk to you later. I want wanted you to come here. I wanted you to give you a performance. Deal? So how old are you now? 11. So, in 11 years, all right? So in 27, you and I will meet on Keating on the steps, all right? And we'll celebrate together. Deal? Deal. And you'll all come? You'll all be her backups. You'll be the pips to her Gladys Knight. It suddenly dawns on me you don't know who Gladys Knight is. So, people, when I say something like that, people say, Father, you're dating yourself. I'm the only person I can date, so there you have it. Third, this is you. You are the pride of the university, and I mean that. You represent us well, and I mean that. You're men and women of character, and I mean that. You build teams, you network among yourselves, you create great friendships. Cherish them, build them, hold on to them, learn wisdom from them. You are the men and women who now wear the mantle of Vince Lombardi, the man who, through character, changed the way that football operated in America, changed the perception that America had of what players are like and what the game is all about. You're his heirs. Live with character, with discipline, revel in friendship, and show us how life is lived with a sense of noble purpose and, I would say, great and saving balance. Capisce? No Italians. Capisco. Thank you for representing us, and tonight, whoever wins, who really wins? Fordham. Take care.
Now for everyone's favorite part of the program, will the entire football team please rise? On behalf of the Fordham University Athletic Department and the university itself, we would like to thank all of you for your hard work at practice, at games, at meets, and in the school, or in the classroom. So, on that, go enjoy the Super Bowl, and we're proud to give you this morning to celebrate all your accomplishments. Go Fordham.